Okay, so the goal for this video is to not really have to edit it. I know I've been vlogging a lot lately, but this has been a topic that has come up in conversations with friends of mine so frequently in the last couple of months, honestly, that I just feel this very strong compulsion to want to make a video talking about it. And it's my YouTube channel, so I can do whatever I want. I am really, really sick and tired of 20-something-year-old women, because that's what we are. We're women, right? We're all adults. Conflating drama with conflict. I have heard the phrase, you know, I don't like drama, so I don't like to get involved, 47 million times in the past year from friends of mine or people that I know that are talking about situations that they're involved in. Yeah, but I don't like drama, so I just don't want to get involved. It's they need to figure it out. Stop conflating drama with conflict. Drama implies that something is manufactured. When I hear drama, I think of the producers on Jersey Shore intentionally throwing a drink on Snooki so that she would punch someone at the bar. That's drama. Drama is some Real Housewife didn't invite some other Real Housewife to her barbecue. That's drama. One of your friends hurting one of your other friends' feelings, saying something malicious, spreading rumors about them, that's not drama, that is conflict. And this has been happening, it happened to me last year. It happens with my friends here in New York. It happens with my friends in Chicago. I would be completely comfortable and probably have already said to the people that I'm kind of thinking about when I'm making this video, but I'm not gonna use names, obviously. I have two friends in Chicago, right? And one of them got in a fight with the other one's friend. They were screaming at each other, both intoxicated, both said incredibly hurtful things. I was there, witnessed it. It was a conflict. It was a large problem that happened in front of a lot of our eyes, right? And one of my other friends continues to insist that she doesn't want to get involved and doesn't want to talk to one of them and try and mediate the situation and say to the other one, hey, this person apologized. Why haven't you accepted the apology? Maybe we should all talk about it and see how we can make our friend group more comfortable going forward. Instead, she's decided to kind of close her eyes and turn around and be like, but I don't like drama, so you guys just figure it out because I don't want to get involved. To me, that is so passive. I cannot for the life of me understand why you would want to be passive in your own life. These are your friends. They're hurting. Someone's feelings are hurt. Someone said something to the other person that was vile and malicious and terrible. And it wasn't your boyfriend is ugly. It was, attacking their character, attacking their morals, attacking their lifestyle. That's kind of vicious stuff. And to conflate it as just drama, I feel absolves the other people who are kind of friends and related to the situation. It absolves them from feeling like they have to do anything. And this is something that my dad raised me this way, so I know that most people are not like this. But anytime I would complain about something growing up, even when I was 7, I would say to my dad, but it's not my fault. And my dad would be like, I don't care. Who said anything about fault? It's a problem. Do you want it fixed or not? Whether it was your fault to begin with, do you want it fixed or not? And I feel that's why when I'm kind of witness to conflicts with friends of mine, or if I'm involved in situations where there's some tumultuous emotions, there's obviously a rift within the friendship or the relationship, I want to fix it. I want to talk to the people involved, say, hey, how can we mediate this? How can we make this more comfortable for everyone going forward? I've never once been well, it's not my problem. It's not my fault. Who cares if it's not my fault? Do you care about these people? Do you want things to get better? Because again, I really despise this attitude of I don't like drama, because by refusing to deal with the situation, you're helping to further perpetuate it and make it go on much longer than it had to. So that insinuates to me that you in fact do enjoy drama, because you had the opportunity to put an end to it and you didn't. you closed your eyes and you turned around and you hoped that it would somehow resolve itself on its own. That's not how conflict works. You have a problem, you need to try and solve it. It's not just gonna go away. It's not just gonna disappear. It's very, very, very rare for heightened emotions and, you know, malicious words to be thrown about and those kind of hurt feelings to just dissipate. Like, when does that actually happen? Especially with women. When does that actually happen? Even if you're not someone that holds a grudge, you remember things like that. You remember, hey, I reached out to this person and I apologized for something that happened and they just completely ignored me and never even said, hey, I hear the apology, message received. You don't even have to accept the apology. Just say that you got it, you heard it. The root of every conflict and resolution, this is my college philosophy professor ringing in my ears right now. The root of every conflict and resolution is human acknowledgement. The reason that you might be fighting with someone is because you feel like your experience isn't acknowledged, they feel like their experience isn't acknowledged. The minute you can come to some type of understanding of, you know what, I can't acknowledge that I've hurt your feelings or that you feel hurt. I can acknowledge that what I did put you in an uncomfortable position. That's where resolution begins. So for you to tell anyone that will listen, I don't like drama, but then refuse to do anything to resolve the drama and instead perpetuate it for months, well, that kind of insinuates that you do in fact enjoy drama. Because even if you don't feel like you have fault, even if you don't feel like you have any responsibility in the situation, if you really didn't like drama, you would put an end to it anyway. And I'm saying this as someone that, like, I have a lot of anxiety and it manifests in many different ways, but I definitely feel like uncomfortable, you know, that kind of anxious pit in your stomach when things kind of aren't going right with a certain friend or a certain relationship. And I do my best to remedy it every time. Even if you can think of a particular relationship where 9 times out of 10, I'm not really the one that like did anything wrong. Who cares? Do I want to continue with this feeling? No. So I reach out and I say, okay, how are we gonna move past this? What can we do? Like, blah, blah, blah. It's just been so fascinating, I think, within the last couple of months with the kind of resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement and people understanding or seeming to understand that inaction can be hurtful. You know, it's crazy to see people reposting photos and quotes and things to the effect of, it's not enough just to not be racist. You have to be anti-racist. You have to be active. You can't just passively not be racist. You have to actively be anti-racist. Okay, you understand that as a concept. Let's widen it a little bit. The idea that even silence can be violence too. If someone is being oppressed, if someone is being hurt in a situation by another party, you've realized that just idly standing by isn't enough. Well, how come you can see that on a grand scale when it's applying to a very large topic, but when it's something that you can actually do in your daily life and apply to your own friendships and relationships, you can't do it? And to me, it just kind of comes down to stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what you think is morally right. When there's a conflict with friends, even within family members, I'm really only using friends as an example because I don't even really have a family to have conflict with, but I know this happens with families, with sisters, whatever. If there's an issue, like an actual problem that was brought about either by action or inaction on someone else's part, I'm sorry, but I fail to understand how that is drama. I think that calling it drama is lazy. I think that it's just very dismissive of the person that's hurt's feelings to just say, but that's drama. I'm like wondering if I even want to say this. I'll use a different example. There's a friend of mine who we kind of butt heads a lot, and I love dearly, but we still butt heads a lot. And this person will often be like, Samantha, you know I don't like drama. And because I cry a lot, right? And I'll always fight back and be like, it's not drama that you're dealing with right now. Me sitting in front of you crying isn't drama. That would be if I just like cried for no reason, or if I got drunk and cried or whatever. I'm crying as a direct result of actions that you did. You said XYZ, my feelings are hurt. you're not mad because you're dealing with drama. You're mad because you're dealing with the consequences of your own actions and you're failing to take any responsibility. And instead, you're dismissing my reaction by calling it drama so that you don't feel like you have to deal with it, because everyone knows drama is something no one wants to be involved in, so you just call it drama. But it's like, call it what it is. It's conflict. It's an effect of either actions that you have put into place, people you're associated with have put into place, and now it's finally manifested into a difficult situation and you're refusing to deal with it. But yet you're gonna turn around on Instagram and tell people, we need to stand up for what's right. We need our actions to match our word. You know, we need daily behavior to be implemented to make a big difference. Like, but do it in your own life. Like, let's go. That's where it begins. To me, this just seems so common sense. I wanna say, like, I don't understand how I have friends that are 28 years old, 25 years old, and still are gonna be like, well, we're all adults, so we should just be able to drop it. Let me tell you this. I know I sound preachy, but this is my YouTube channel. I can sound preachy if I want to. Being an adult, I can assure you, has little to nothing to do with closing your eyes and turning around and ignoring a situation and hoping that it'll go away. Being an adult is not about swallowing your words. Being an adult is not about failing to stand up for the people in your life that you care about in the hopes that you can maintain social connections that mean absolutely nothing. Being an adult is largely about accepting responsibility, acknowledging responsibility in situations where you didn't think you had responsibility, and making sure that your behaviors on a daily basis match the words that you say behind closed doors. You know, I had a friend of mine who said to me, I think so-and-so's behavior is ridiculous. I think it's childish. I think it's very hurtful, and I don't condone it at all, okay? Say that to them then. Let's go. Like, but then you're gonna invite them to a party or go to dinner with them and fail to see how that's reinforcing those very actions, because then that other person doesn't think that you dissent in any way. Silence is violence too. Again, how can we repeat these phrases over and over on a grand scale when we're talking about something like, you know, racism or bullying or political injustice, but when it comes to your best friend, your roommate, you don't understand the concept. Like, it's the same concept. You know, people say, like, keep the same energy. Exactly, keep the same energy. I understand that confrontation is difficult for a lot of people. And that's something that when I'm talking to friends of mine, because I'm kind of seen as like the therapist in my friend group, everybody comes to me with their problems. And that's kind of why I was so pushed to make this video, because I've had 2 people in the past month tell me things like to this effect, and I dealt with this last year, so it just feels very, it really hits home with me. I know that people think that because confrontation is so difficult, if they just kind of play neutral and play Switzerland, they're being the bigger person, because they're, again, not belittling themselves by involving themselves in drama. But again, your first mistake was calling it drama. That was your first mistake. And now you just look like you don't have a strong moral center. You don't look like you care if your behaviors and actions are in accordance with each other. You don't care that what you say behind closed doors doesn't match your energy in the real world whatsoever. How is that being an adult? How is that being a person with a strong moral center? I said to one of my best friends at one point, we had a falling out, right? And there was a friend of ours who was friends with both of us, and she refused to take a side, and as a result, her friendship with both of us suffered because neither of us felt like we could fully be ourselves around her, fully tell her how we were feeling. So the friendship with both of us suffered. And I said to my best friend when we kind of started talking again, I was like, I have more respect for you, someone that said hurtful, vicious things to me, because at least you had an opinion, at least you had a feeling, at least you had a strong stance. And I understand, it's easier for me to be empathetic and understand where you were coming from because you had such a strong stance. But if you're just gonna play Switzerland and stand in the middle and close your eyes and turn around and just hope that something will resolve itself miraculously, that shows me that not only you don't understand how cause and effect works, but you don't care enough to have a strong opinion about anything. You don't care enough to be invested in the people around you. To me, that's not being an adult at all. You know, that's like a child spilling juice on the ground and being like, well, I didn't do it, the dog did it. Okay, maybe the dog did do it, but you were playing with the dog. You riled the dog up, you know? The dog can't clean it up by himself. Like, maybe you should help. Like, I don't know, that's a ridiculous metaphor, but again, I just keep thinking there's something so detrimental about calling conflict between best friends, within a friend group, in a relationship, drama. Because to me, that really implies that it's trivial, it's manufactured in some way in order to entertain. And 9 times out of 10, at least in any situation I've been involved with, or like I said, that I've had friends coming to me wanting to talk about in the past several months, I see none of that. Nothing is manufactured for entertainment. People's feelings are deeply hurt. People have said very vicious things to other people. People have gone out of their way to make other people feel small or uncomfortable or excluded or whatever. That's not drama. That's a conflict, which has a resolution. If you conflate it with drama, that somehow gives you the justification to brush it to the side and dismiss it, because drama is something that we think of as being more trivial and not really worth our time and not worth our attention. And that's just so sad to me, because again, it's insanely ironic that we can understand how on a large scale, even our inaction is essentially inaction. It's the same thing in your daily life. And it makes me sad, because I really hope she doesn't get upset by me saying this, but one of my best friends in Chicago, her roommate and her best friend had an insane falling out around Christmas. And I was there, I witnessed it. It was horrible, vicious, like absolutely horrible things were said back and forth by both parties, attacking their character, each other's lifestyle. It was a horrible situation to be a part of. I've tried the best that I can to mediate in my own way and offer comfort in my own way and try and offer solutions, even though I live 800, 1,000 miles away and I'm not really around. But my best friend, who's kind of at the center of it, she's like, well, I thought it would be resolved by now. 7 months later, it's still not resolved. One person apologized, the other person didn't even want to listen to it. So now everyone else has to like go back and forth between the two friends and either hang out with this one or hang out with that one, or this one gets excluded. And then you're gonna tell me, but I don't get involved and I don't push for some type of reconciliation and I don't try and mediate because it's not my problem. I didn't cause it. It's drama. I don't wanna be involved. And my answer to that is, why would you wanna take such a passive role in your own life? These are your friends, this is your life, and it's affecting you. Whether you started it or not, it is affecting you. And again, why say so confidently over and over again that you don't like drama? If that were the case, regardless of whose fault it was, if you really didn't like drama, you would have done whatever you could to put an end to it months ago. But instead, by refusing to take any action and just kind of passively letting other people hopefully maybe resolve it, you've perpetuated the drama for 7 more months. To me, when I take a step back and I say things like this, it's like, duh, why wouldn't you want to take an active role in your own life? You know, there's so many things that we see as humans on a daily basis that we're like, oh, this sucks, like I wish it were different, and we just don't do anything about it. There are so many things that we witness on a daily basis that aren't our problem, they aren't our fault. But yet we insert ourselves where we're not needed constantly. But then how come you won't do that in your own life? It's your life. Are you happy that you have to split your time between this friend and that friend? Are you happy that this person is clearly upset and then you're going to hang out with that other person and you're just not talking about it? And to me, that's like you're denying the human experience of the people involved by refusing to talk about the situation or refusing to work towards some type of resolution. How belittling is that? I even said to someone that I know in the past couple of months, it kind of feels like gaslighting. And then I started thinking, why am I thinking now that like women gaslight more than men do? And they do, when it's this kind of, I don't want to be involved in drama. I'm going to sit here across from you and listen to you for 2 hours, you know, cry and be really upset about something that happened and commiserate with you and agree with you and support you and make you feel like your experience is valid. And then I'm going to turn around and complete a series of actions that negate everything that you just said and implies that I actually don't support any of the feelings that I told you I supported. And again, you think that you're not doing any harm because you're not at fault. Who cares? Who cares that if you feel like you're at fault or not? Now you just made yourself at fault because now you, I don't know, like it is hard to talk about this topic without like calling people out and without like naming names of people that I know, because to me it's just a lot easier to explain when there's like some backstory. But that's not my point in making this video. It's more just my frustration in general with like, this has been something that I have seen over and over and over again over the past couple of years. It involved me directly, and I felt the effects of it in such a huge, massive way about a year ago, where I remember saying to people around me, it makes me feel like I'm crazy because I went through this experience that I kind of viewed as like honestly traumatic with a friend that meant more to me than any other human on the planet at the time. And I'm like, this was a very traumatic experience. And it's insane to have people around you go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like that is not right. That should not have happened. You didn't deserve that, XYZ. And then if you ever want to talk about it again, it's like, well, but you know, Samantha, I don't want to be involved in drama. And if you say, well, I've kind of been thinking about what can I do to make it better? And they're like, well, Samantha, you know, I don't want to be involved in drama. And then I'm like, but you just said you understood how hurtful this was. Why wouldn't you want to do anything to help me, to be on my team, to help remedy the situation? How can you hear those things and condemn this person's behavior to my face over and over and over and over again, and then turn around and go hang out with them as if nothing's wrong? Like, that makes me feel insane. And that also makes me feel like you're two-faced, or that makes me feel like you don't have a strong enough of a moral center to have your actions match your words, to have your daily behavior match how you supposedly feel. And I don't feel like any social gathering is worth, I'm speaking only for myself. And I know I can say this because I was alone in quarantine for about 100 days. I know I can say things like this, and Aurora always reminds me, she's very smart. Aurora always reminds me, a lot of people don't have as much like fortitude or patience that I have. And you know, at the end of the day, they're like, well, but I was lonely, and like that person looked cool and I wanted to hang out with them. And you know, yeah, I know they hurt your feelings, but like I wanted to have dinner with somebody, or I wanted and I'm like, I would have just been alone. There have been so many times in my life where I felt like I can't condone the actions of people that I know, so then I'm alone. But I sleep well at night because I know that I'm strong in my convictions and that my behavior matches what I'm preaching to other people. I really don't think, like, and any of my friends that happen to stumble upon this video that maybe I'm not friends with anymore, they will tell you, if I'm upset with you, I'm upset with you. I'm not gonna pretend that everything's okay and hang out with you. I'm just not. If I'm upset with you, you won't hear from me until we have some type of conversation and we come back together. Everything is laid out on the table and then we move forward. And I try and keep that same energy with situations that I may not even directly be involved in. But if they're involving my close friends, then I am involved. And again, I'm an insanely empathetic person. I'm a Pisces. But beside the fact of me being a Pisces, like, I am insanely empathetic to the point where it makes me nauseous, it makes me sick, it manifests within my anxiety. I take on the emotions of people that I really shouldn't even be taking on the emotions of. I think of how my one action will affect this person, that person, how this person will interpret it, and that person. So I know that's not normal for anyone, let alone a 20-something-year-old girl. But something that I was talking about with my friend Naila too was, I think a lot of people also conflate empathy and sympathy. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. You can't say to someone, I'm really empathetic to your experience. I feel empathy for you because that person said vicious, hurtful things to you, or that person's actions have continued to make you feel small, uncomfortable, whatever. If you really felt that empathy, then empathy means I feel your feelings with you. I am there with you. I am next to you. And that implies you're on my team. You're gonna walk through this experience with me. You are going to help me brainstorm a solution. You are going to act with me, maybe in a way that I can't because I'm so hurt. So you're gonna take on a role of, okay, how can we make this situation better because you have empathy. That means we're together like this. Sympathy is not that. I think a lot of people say they have empathy, but they really mean to say that they have sympathy. Sympathy is, oh, that sucks for you. I'm sorry, that blows. Anyway, I have lunch plans. Like, that's what sympathy means. Empathy means, oh my God, I'm so sorry, now I'm upset. I'm gonna sit here with you. I'm gonna be with you in this place of sadness and hurt. I'm gonna feel your feelings with you. And I guess that's just what I keep thinking over and over again within the past year. I would say having these situations happen, not only again and again, but like I said, with my friends in New York, with myself, with my friends in Chicago, with my friends in LA, like it just keeps happening. And I just keep thinking how sad that women in their 20s have somehow warped the definition of conflict to conflate it with drama, allowing them to dismiss it as something that they don't need to deal with and that is beneath them and not worth their time. And they feel that way until the drama is with them, until they're the ones being hurt. But when other people are being hurt, oh, sorry, gotta go. Come on. And also just this kind of reminder over and over again that people are really not good at being empathetic. They're not good at looking you in the eye and saying, I feel you, I understand how you're feeling, and I'm gonna sit here with you until it's figured out. They'd much rather look at you and be like, oh, that really blows. I'll let you know how the party is though. I feel like this is something that has probably been happening and I've probably been witness to for all of my 20s, but I just, you know, dismiss it over and over again because I'm like, well, this is just how people are. But then it's so upsetting to see how when something happens on a large kind of global scale, people get very riled up and be like, we need more action and we need our behavior to match our words and we need to stand up for people that are hurt in situations, even if it wasn't our fault. Even if I didn't have slaves, I need to actively stand up for the Black people in my community that are being hurt, that are being isolated, that are being made to feel unwelcome. Even though it wasn't my fault, I have to do it. I have to stand up for them. Okay? Okay? So on a global scale, you can understand that. On a kind of community level, you can understand that. But if your one individual Black friend is essentially a victim of a conflict and has suffered because of a situation between friends, that hits way closer to home because it's right in front of you. It's not like, oh, what's happening like across the country is like kind of shitty. It's no, it's happening right here in front of you. You're so quick to be like, whoa, but I don't want to get involved in drama. So like, that's not my problem. I don't understand. But again, I do understand because I'm insanely empathetic and I know that people hate confrontation. And like Aurora said, people are lonely and they don't have the kind of patience and the kind of fortitude to say, all right, well, I'm going to inconvenience myself in order to make this situation better for everyone. They'd rather say, but I really wanted to get margaritas with that person. No one else could get margaritas with me that day. So this wasn't planned out at all. This was not scripted. I literally sat down. Sorry, I just got a very important text message. Anyway, I hope that this video makes sense. I feel like I've had this conversation with a couple of my friends, you know, multiple times within the past few weeks about situations that they're involved in. And when I say it on the phone, you know, I'm able to be very calm and I feel like I make my points very clearly, and it just, to me, seems as clear as the sky is blue. But then I start to talk about it and I think about how often it happens and I just get a little heated and riled up. So if that came out like gibberish, I'm sorry. I would love to know if anyone agrees or understands what I'm saying. Please leave comments. If you would like me to expand upon certain ideas, I would be more than happy to. I just feel like overall, I've probably repeated myself 17 times in this video now, and you're like, Samantha, we get it. Like, you're disappointed. I'm not saying this to imply that I'm like morally superior to people. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I think being insanely empathetic is grueling. It's really hard. It makes life kind of rough sometimes, but I think it's so worth it because I feel like all of my friends know how I feel. They know that when I open my mouth, my words are going to be followed with actions that match it. They know that if I say I'm going to be there for them, I'm going to be there for them. They know that if they need someone on their team, I will be there and I will help them work towards a situation that could be better, whether it was my fault or not. That's the kind of friend that I want to be. And I think it's just disappointing to realize that a lot of people are not capable of being that kind of friend. They don't want to be with you when things get really shitty. They only want to be with you when it's Taco Tuesday, or, you know, when there's Instagram pictures to be taken. But when you're really going through something, when you're really dealing with conflict, when you're really have been hurt, they don't feel comfortable kind of getting in it with you and figuring it out. I think it was just really eye-opening for me being home in Chicago and kind of being privy to this situation, like I said, that happened 7 months ago, and seeing how it really hadn't resolved itself in any way, and then me getting kind of upset thinking, why am I 800 miles away trying to remedy this situation the best that I can, and the people that are here that are actively a part of these two friends' lives are just not. And then they're wondering why things are still uncomfortable, but then they're turning around on Instagram and going like, stand up for people, and like, you know, like silence is violence. Like, it's not enough to just be a passively good person. You must actively be a good person. Yeah, you need to actively be a good person. This is your life. These are conflicts between friends. And honestly, here's the other thing, what I've noticed. In your 20s, late 20s, I'm 27 by the way, the kind of conflicts that arise between friends are really on quite a different level than things that happen when you're, let's say, 17, 16. Maybe that's drama. Maybe stuff that happened in high school and this person said that they weren't gonna wear the matching outfit to the prom, but they did, and you're like, oh my God, and like, that's drama. At what point did you, I don't know, is it like the reality television culture that we're so immersed in? Is it the way that social media has deluded us into thinking that things that happen in our real lives have some type of entertainment value because a lot of times they're performatively done for social media? So then we start to look at our lives as reality shows, but that's not what it is. This is my real life. I don't care if I liked your photo on Instagram. I don't care if you watched my story or not. Are you a good person? I don't care if we have 19 photos together looking like we love each other. When I'm going through something, do you make me feel loved? That's what I care about. If I take all of our phones and throw them in the ocean, then what do those friendships look like? Something I said to Naila was, you know, she's such a good friend of mine, and we spend so much time talking about really deep topics. I think I have one photo with her. Like, I'm not friends with her for any performative reason, and therefore, like, being her friend and being with her and going through situations with her and walking alongside her in her journey of life, I don't necessarily like get anything out of it, but there are people who only want to walk alongside her and only want to be a good friend to her when it like looks cute for Instagram. Then the second some conflict arises, they're like, oh, this is drama, sorry. I'm gonna skip this episode, but that's like not how friendship works. And I think the crazy thing is I was like kind of keeping this energy when I was like 13, and I was so upset at my dad all the time because I would be like, why are certain girls at school like not the way I am? And my dad was like, no, when you get older, you'll see, it'll be better. They're just young. You're, you know, too emotionally mature for even me. And then now I'm 27 and I'm like, wait a minute, 28-year-olds are still doing this. Like, it has nothing to do with age. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I hope that I made sense. I hope that this didn't come across too preachy, but at the same time, like I said, this is my YouTube channel. This is the place for me to be preachy. I hope everyone has a great weekend, a great Friday. My advice to you going forward would just be conscious of how many times you dismiss things as drama that are really consequences of either your action, your inaction, or that of someone very close to you. Ask yourself why you're so adamant that fault somehow dismisses you from being an active participant in your own life. And yeah, now I'm tired. That's it. Leave your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Dislike, that's fine. If you're mad about everything that I said, then dislike this video, that's fine too. Okay, bye, kisses.